It was during our anniversary dinner with my wife's family when I had to step outside to take a work call. That wasn't unusual for me. Working in IT support meant I was on call even during personal occasions. Emily, my wife, gave me a look, slightly irritated, but still understanding. Around the table, her parents, her two sisters, and her brother-in-law were all laughing, wine glasses in hand, enjoying themselves. I slipped quietly out the side door of the restaurant, phone pressed to my ear, pacing a few steps outside. The call barely lasted 5 minutes, just a minor network hiccup. When I turned to head back in, I stopped. The door had a slim vertical window that gave me a clear view of our table. I hadn't planned on watching, but something pulled my eyes there. Emily was leaning in toward her brother-in-law, Tom. Too close. Her hand rested on his wrist, and the smile on her face wasn't the one I knew. It was softer, almost teasing. She whispered something, and Tom laughed, his hand brushing against her knee under the table. No one else noticed. I froze in place. At first, I tried to tell myself I was imagining things. Maybe the angle made it look worse than it was. Maybe it was harmless. But then I saw Tom push his phone across the table toward her. Emily glanced around, then lowered her eyes to the screen. She bit her lip and nodded. That wasn't innocent. I walked back inside, forcing my face into something neutral. Nobody suspected anything. Emily looked up at me and smiled sweetly, reaching out to squeeze my hand, the same hand that had just been on Tom minutes before. I smiled back, masking the storm building inside me. I needed time to think. I needed to be certain. Over the next several weeks, I started paying closer attention. I didn't accuse her or pick fights. I wanted proof before I said anything. But Emily's behavior with her phone shifted. She became more protective of it, angling the screen away when I entered the room. There were late-night texts she claimed were from work. Meanwhile, Tom began dodging invitations to spend time with us as a couple. Something between them had changed. Eventually, I installed a keystroke logger on our shared home laptop, the one Emily sometimes used for remote work. I hated myself for doing it, but I needed clarity. What I found shattered me. There were unsent drafts, deleted notes, fragments of messages hinting at more than just friendship. Emotional, and maybe physical. One draft said, "I wish things were different. Being near you at dinner almost drove me insane." The date on it matched the night of our anniversary. I printed the drafts and screenshots, then sat with them for hours. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just felt empty. The betrayal wasn't only from Emily, it was from Tom, a man I had treated like family. I made a plan. Quiet. Careful. I wasn't going to let rage dictate my choices. I needed to stay in control. The next time we had dinner with her family, I brought everything. Same restaurant. Same table. Emily acted cheerful, pretending nothing was wrong. Tom looked uneasy. I waited until dessert. Then, without raising my voice, I slid a folder across the table to Emily. "You left your work notes open," I said calmly. The table went silent. Emily's face drained of color as she opened the folder. Her mother asked what was going on. Emily said nothing, just stared at the pages, her hands trembling. I turned to Tom. "Anything you'd like to add?" His wife, Emily's sister, looked at him, baffled. "What's he talking about, Tom?" Tom stammered, tried to deny it at first, but went quiet as I laid out the messages, the dates, the times. Emily reached for my hand, whispering desperately, "Let's talk about this in private." I pulled my hand back. "You didn't keep it private. Why should I?" Her family sat in stunned silence. Her mother began to cry. Her father pushed his chair back, stood up, and walked out. I didn't shout. I didn't make a scene. I simply stood, thanked them for the meal, and left. That was the last time I ever saw Emily in person. 2 weeks later, the divorce papers were delivered. I didn't demand much, just peace. She tried calling, sending long apologies, but I never answered. People think betrayal always comes with screaming and chaos. But sometimes it's quiet. A glimpse through a doorway. A hand resting where it shouldn't. A message never meant to be seen. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.